Every day, we see the sun and moon rise and set. This might make you think that the sun and moon orbit the Earth, like in the ancient Greeks' geocentric model. Interestingly, the universe doesn't revolve around us. It's the opposite.
Just like the sun, stars appear to move in circles called star trails every 24 hours. The sun's movement and star trails are both examples of apparent motion, which is when an object appears to move in the sky.
In the correct heliocentric model, the Earth revolves around the sun once a year. Meanwhile, the moon orbits around the Earth, which also spins around its tilted axis once every 24 hours. The apparent motions of the sun and stars are due to the self-rotation of the Earth, while the relative positions of the sun, Earth, and moon cause phenomena such as moon phases and eclipses.
Moon phases occur because of the changing angle of the Earth, moon, and sun. The phase of the moon is determined by how much of the moon's illuminated half overlaps with the half facing us, as shown by the red lines. The moon completes one cycle of phases about every 30 days. Let's move on to eclipses.
Eclipses happen when the moon, Earth, and sun line up. There are two types of eclipses, solar and lunar. In a solar eclipse, the moon is between the Earth and sun. The moon is 400 times smaller than the sun, but 400 times closer to Earth, so the moon blocks the sun's light, casting a lighter shadow, the penumbra, and a darker one, the umbra.
In a lunar eclipse, the Earth sits between the sun and moon. Sunlight enters Earth's atmosphere, and bluer light is scattered out while red light passes through and reaches the moon. The Earth's shadow is larger than the moon, which is why lunar eclipses last hours, while solar eclipses last minutes.
There are three main kinds of solar eclipses. Total and annular solar eclipses are seen in the umbra, whereas partial solar eclipses are seen in the penumbra. Total solar eclipses happen when the moon is near its perigee, closest point to Earth, so the moon appears bigger, while the annular ones happen when the moon is near its apogee, or furthest point from Earth, so the moon appears smaller. There is also a rarer hybrid solar eclipse, which alternates between annular and total.
There are three kinds of lunar eclipses as well. A total lunar eclipse happens when the moon is in the umbra and turns red, earning the nickname blood moon. A partial lunar eclipse happens when part of the moon is covered by Earth's umbra, whereas a penumbral lunar eclipse happens when the moon only passes in Earth's penumbra.
Now you may be wondering, why don't we have a solar eclipse every new moon and a lunar eclipse every full moon? This is because the moon's orbit is tilted about 5 degrees. Sometimes the moon is too low, and sometimes it's too high. Eclipses can only happen when the moon, Earth, and sun align just right. There are 2 spots on the moon's and Earth's orbit where this can take place, which is why there are usually 2 solar and 2 lunar eclipses every year.
Apparent motion occurs with planets as well. Just like stars, planets circle in the sky, but on top of that, their long-term movements exhibit what's called apparent retrograde motion. Let's focus on Earth and Mars.
Planets like Mars usually seem to move in a line across the sky, but when Earth passes one of them in orbit, they appear to briefly drift backwards. Keep looking up and remember, the sky is not the limit.